In from the right then, the new Wedgetail AW1. Starting their takeoff roll, those extra EA330 LXs of the Royal Jordanian Falcons, getting airborne to initially position before tipping in for a really high quality 4-ship aerobatic display. pt5 show by the Royal Jordanian Falcons. So the team starting off in box formation, performing a quarter clover manoeuvre, rolling right and pulling through, and they'll be staying in this very tight box formation for an initial barrel roll. This manoeuvre so named because the aircraft are basically describing the inside of an imaginary barrel laying on its side in the sky. What a tight formation this is, led for the 2025 display season by Jamil Zayat, who first joined the Royal Jordanian Falcons back in 2002. He is currently the Director of Operations and leader of the team. In fact, he first assumed leadership in 2005 and has returned at the Dassault Mirage F1. So out from that windover to the right, and coming back in down the display line, you can see the sudden change to the formation out of box and into T for Tango. As they pull up, and they're dropping back a little from the leader. They pull up as if to perform an ordinary Cuban 8 manoeuvre, but they're going to exit it still inverted with a painful negative G push. By the aircraft manufacturer Extra of Germany, and is probably the smallest aircraft to display here today, with a length of just 23 feet and a wingspan of just 26 feet. Do not overstress the aircraft with full scale deflection of any of the controls. A design conceived as the name suggests, 2 to the left, 2 to the right, and this is their salute to you. This is the Royal Jordanian Falcons heart. And as they cross out there in the distance to the north, the back in onto the main A-axis. And they're headed towards the display centre for a crossover. And they split as they do so. The slot man is Feras Al-Waitat, who joined the Royal Jordanian Air Force in 2006, graduated from King Hussein Air College in 2010 as a fighter pilot, flying the F5 and then the F-16 Fighting Falcon. He's been on the Royal Jordanian Falcons since 2021. It was at the personal behest of that very fine aviator, His late Majesty King Hussein bin Talal of Jordan, that the Royal Jordanian Falcons were founded back in 1976 on the pit specials. His intention was, the team says, to promote the Jordanian family, peace and friendship to the world through the art and science of aviation. Watch now off to the left as the solo crosses over with the three-ship formation. Pulling up for a loop on the 45-degree line. And the leader will now be calling them into a barrel roll. And as they complete the barrel roll, the solo re-enters. Leader and the right wingman going into mirror formation, the left wingman barrel rolling dynamically around their smoke. At the moment, he's another King Hussein Air College graduate as a fighter pilot, flying the F5 and will transition to the Air Force's transport fleet on the Airbus C295 twin turboprop.
But as well as being the smallest aircraft on display here at RIAT, it is the only one that can be flown on a private pilot's licence. With a maximum takeoff weight of just over 2,000 pounds and a cost of somewhere in the region of 350,000 pounds, plus the inevitable VAT, if you can afford it.
In big formation now, for another of the quarter cloverleaf manoeuvres that are such a good way of changing display axis. And they split on the way down. Orbiting back into the vertical, showing us something of the outstanding power to weight ratio of the extra EA 330 LX. They clear, the solo comes back in for a session of freestyle aerobatic maneuvers in front of us. They pull up, they're still inverted as the solo crosses them, heading underneath them and pulling up behind them as the team begins to roll upright. As I say, the team comes from what's known officially as the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, and the manoeuvre they're setting up for now is called the Hashemite Break. Break, break, go, calls the leader. He pulls vertical as the two wingmen go off to either side. The wingman I haven't talked about yet is Captain Ahmad Al-Huda, a King Hussein Air College graduate who's flown the F5 and the F-16. He's been a member of the Royal Jordanian Falcons since 2013. Extras all over the sky at the moment, but they'll shortly be reforming. Two wingmen crossing a perfect cross at display centre as the leader dives down behind them and the solo pulls up into the vertical for a series of vertical rolls. It was in 1992 that the Royal Jordanian Falcons replaced their again, heading onto the knife edge for the crossover. You can see the three other aircraft are now back in line abreast formation, performing a very tidy loop with rock-steady formation flying. And now watch the rejoin by the solo, and also watch the transition from line abreast into big formation by the other three, as the solo chases them down. currently inverted, but soon once again to roll upright. There we go. And they're using a wing over to come back onto the A-axis. Now, Mark will see a very nice slow roll, hopefully, from another aircraft in the display, another propeller-driven aircraft in the display later on. This is going to be a slow roll in box formation. One of the hardest manoeuvres we're going to see today, performed by a team watching formation. What makes this so challenging exactly? It's a manoeuvre that requires all three axes of the control system being... It's for their final manoeuvre, this. It's for their Concorde fan brake. We give you the 2025 Royal Jordanian Falcons.
I'm enjoying it here. I like the forecast. It's too.
Oh yeah, I'll find the jet.
Squadron leader Nathan Scheuer. Time now for 5 aileron rolls on the next pass, 1890 degrees of roll.
Continued lateral rolling like that really does send the inner ear into a bit of spin. Quite often, pilots would then do a roll in the opposite direction just to calm the fluid down, but not Nathan. here of the power of the two Eurojet EJ200 turbofan engines on their afterburner, able to power the aircraft to a maximum speed of twice the speed of sound. Yeah, those engines in full reheat give a beautiful orange colour, which is very nicely contrasted by that dark cloud.
Straight in front of us for a loop.
We had a change in regulations this year that moved the maximum speed to 0.95 or 600 knots, whichever is reached first. So from there, high speed pass. Setting up here for the slow speed pass. This configured aircraft with its delta wing and canard is much more aerodynamically efficient at high alpha manoeuvres because both the wings and the canard are producing lift for the airframe. Very nicely on 45 degrees to the canard. Airspeed of 110 knots. The 2025 RIAT display. Majority of SAF is still a blend of this biomass and fossil fuel, but ultimately it has the potential for it to be the exclusive source. And I'd also like to say that the timekeeping display will see the frozen bones slide talking to the disabled people, which the late Paul Bowen and our current Vice President, the show's former director Tim Prince, set up in 1983 as a memorial to Group Captain Sir Douglas Barr. The FSDP allows
that the aircraft I was talking about from the Catalan group, the Fiat G91R. Behind. The Fiat G91, used by the Freccia Tricolori from pretty near its establishment, was decided in January 1961 to form one permanent team rather than having the responsibility for providing a team rotated between different fighter units. It was stationed initially at Rivolto, still stationed today, with 6 F-86E Cessnas in class formation.
Enthusiast, non-fiction writer, very much.